Arsenal vs Burnley prediction. Gunners aim to move to brink of Premier League glory. Arsenal are massive favourites for this game with Burnley, with the Opta supercomputer giving them an 86.9% win probability. The Gunners have only lost their final home league game in one of the last 28 seasons W3D4 and are unbeaten in 14 since a 2-1 loss to Aston Villa in 2010-11 W1-D2. Arsenal have won all 10 of their Premier League games against sides already relegated that season, the best 100% record in the competition. Arsenal will look to take a massive step towards claiming the Premier League title when they entertain Burnley at Emirates Stadium on Monday. The stage is set for an enthralling finale, with the Gunners holding a 2-point lead over Manchester City at the top of the table with just 2 games remaining this season. Should Arsenal increase their advantage to 5 by overcoming already relegated Burnley, anything other than a win for City at Bournemouth on Tuesday would see them crowned as champions for the first time in 22 years. The situation could have been very different for Arsenal had relegation-threatened West Ham had been denied a stoppage time equaliser following a contentious VAR review at the London Stadium last weekend. That decision meant Leandro Trossard's goal was enough for a 1-0 victory and 3 valuable points. This time out, Arsenal will be hoping Victor Gyökeres can fire them to victory. 9 of his 14 Premier League goals have come at the Emirates, and another against Burnley would see him become just the 4th player to hit double figures at home their first season for the club, after Thierry Henry in 1999-00-11, Olivier Giroud in 2012-13-10, and Alexandre Lacazette in 2017-18-11. Despite the display against the Hammers being far from convincing, manager Mikel Arteta described his team as being full of confidence heading into the Burnley match. Well, the team is really present. It's just living the moment. It's emotionally at a really good state, I think. The energy level is the right one, Arteta said in his pre-match news conference. Everybody is so enthusiastic and so positive about the way that we can finish the season. There are defensive concerns for Arsenal, however. Ben White has been ruled out for the rest of the season with a knee injury, while Jurriën Timber groin and Riccardo Calafiori muscular injury are doubts. The Gunners have been able to count on strength in depth this season, though. Substitutes have scored or assisted 17 goals for them, the most in the Premier League. Nevertheless, the right side of their defence may be an area that Burnley, who held Aston Villa to a 2-2 draw last week, look to exploit as they aim to finish a largely disappointing season on a high. The Clarets have won just one of their last 27 top-flight games, D8L 1-8, picking up just one more .11 than they did in their first 9 this season, 10W3D1L5. Finishing strong away from home has not been a forte for Burnley in the Premier League era, either. They have only won 2 of their final away games across 9 campaigns, beating Villa in 2014-15 and Norwich City in 2019-20. Interim boss Mike Jackson confirmed Connor Roberts will not feature and was unsure whether Hannibal Magebury would feature after being taken off as a precaution against Villa. Arsenal take to the Emirates Stadium for the final time in the 2025-26 season as they host Burnley on Monday night. The Gunners overcame West Ham with a well-earned 1-0 away victory in their last outing. Martinodegaard worked some magic to set up Leandro Trossard, who fired in the winning goal late on in East London. Disaster struck when Callum Wilson equalised in stoppage time, but VAR ruled the leveller out for a foul on David Raya. With the title within his side's grasp, Mikel Arteta will no doubt look to field the strongest side possible against the already relegated Clarets, but he will have to deal with injuries that will force him to rotate. Here's how Arsenal could line up against Burnley. Mikel Arteta makes demand to Arsenal fans ahead of decisive Burnley clash. Arsenal host relegated Burnley on Monday night, knowing that victory would put them tantalisingly close to a first league title in 22 years, ahead of Manchester City's game at Bournemouth. Mikel Arteta has described the Emirates crowd as Arsenal's 12th man in the title challenge. Gunners boss Arteta insists the fans can be the magic player as Arsenal chase the 2 victories needed to help them win the club's first Premier League in 22 years. Supporters are organising a huge Greet the Bus procession ahead of Monday's clash with Burnley to try and whip the atmosphere. It has been nervous at times during the title run-in, but Arteta says the fans are the ones who have made all the difference. Arteta said the fans are our 12th man and the magic player. When the stadium provides that level of energy, passion and optimism, they play every single action with the team. When we have the ball, when the opponent has the ball, in every element, they live the game like that. The value of that is just infinite. I think you cannot measure it and the team becomes different. It is as simple as that. Arteta played at Arsenal and was captain during some difficult times at the end of Arsene Wenger's reign when the crowd turned on the players. But it really struck with him when he was Pep Guardiola's number 2 at Manchester City and he saw half-empty seats in the home end and disaffected, fed-up fans. It was his first mission to turn it around, and now Arsenal are aiming to repay the faith with trophies. Arteta said, "It was the first thing because a few days before I was appointed here I was on the other bench with Man City, and that image, that feeling of the stadium, the crowd ... 50% of the stadium was empty. It really got into me. I said, with this, there is no project, there is nothing that we're not going to do. This is not going to work." Unfortunately, it got worse very quickly, because then COVID hit, and then instead of 50% we have 0, so you make the job even harder. So after that we had to rebuild everything. But when it's harder at the beginning, then it's better. So to see that transformation, and that joy in the people, it's something that is beautiful to watch.